President Biden announced a first round of sanctions against Russia yesterday, with the prospect of perhaps more to come, depending on what Russian President Putin does next in Ukraine. For The View from Washington, we welcome now Joe Mathieu. He's host, of course, of Sound on Bloomberg Radio every day of the week. So, Joe, how does it look right now from Washington?
Well, I'll tell you, David, after those sanctions were announced yesterday, this White House is feeling pressure from allies on Capitol Hill to our allies in Europe. The president rolling out the sanctions that we talked about here and you heard and saw live on Bloomberg TV and radio that are aimed at two of Russia's largest financial institutions and several oligarchs, but a far cry from what a lot of folks have been calling for here in Washington now for weeks, including Republicans on Capitol Hill who did not want the administration to wait. And now some Democrats, in fact, many are joining that chorus, including Senator Chris Coons from Joe Biden's home state of Delaware to the chair of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, Senator Bob Menendez, who was on the verge, as he said, of coming up with his own legislation on sanctions. He spoke on CNN this morning saying what we cannot have is another Munich moment, which says a lot from a Democrat here. And these calls may be answered soon. This is a White House, as we heard from President Biden yesterday, David, that expects Russia to continue moving into Ukraine. And if that is the case, it will be answered by further sanctions. We heard from Press Secretary Jen Psaki on this again yesterday, saying, quote, that the U.S. is ready to press a button to take action on another round. We'll see if that happens today, David. This is clearly a White House that is reserving some leverage for what it fears will be continued aggression from Russia.
And, Joe, I wonder if it may need that leverage. We hope it won't, but whether it mean not only because of possible action on the ground in Ukraine, but also we had the Russian foreign ministry earlier today, as you know, say, OK, now it's our turn. We're going to come back at you and punish you, United States.
Well, we'll see how far that goes. And of course, tomorrow there will be no meeting between Russia's foreign minister and Secretary of State Antony Blinken. Apparently, talks are off here. And so it's really just a question of when likely these more severe sanctions are put in place. But David, we've heard weeks of threats of crippling, devastating sanctions. We simply haven't seen that yet.